Hey everybody, thank you for coming back to another One Flask review. Today we actually went to the theater and saw Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim. I really was hoping this movie was going to be good because, one, I love movies that are medieval. Obviously, Lord of the Rings is set in a medieval universe, a lot of like magic, swords, catapults, trebuchets, sea showers. I love that kind of stuff. Those are my favorite style of movies. I will preface on saying Lord of the Rings hasn't been like one of my favorite movies or series of all time. I've watched them, I've enjoyed them, but I wouldn't consider myself any like diehard fan. So, I mean, it was good. But getting into it while I was drinking my flask in the theater, it starts off with a very beautiful orchestra theme, and I am a sucker for good music. I think musics make movies a lot of the times. Obviously, the story does too, but music is something that can enhance it, and I really do feel like it did in this movie. A beautiful pan over, it looks like it's real, and then it hits right into that animation. And which, in my opinion, I think the animation hurt it. The animation in this movie was very hit or miss. It felt like there were times they spent $3 trying to animate a certain scene, and then they would spend like millions of dollars animating certain scenes. It felt like I was kind of watching a cutscene in a movie or a game, like old PlayStation 2, or if anyone's ever played the Sonic Adventure 1, like you know how Sonic's mouth doesn't keep up with what the words are actually saying. It felt like a lot of that was in this movie. So a lot of broken like speaking and movement to what was actually being said through the speakers, which I don't think that was a theater fault. I believe that's how this was designed. But getting into it, again, yeah, starts beautifully, introduces you right to the main character, Hera, who is obviously one of the writers now. She is the daughter of the king. It was it. She's an adventurous girl. That was cool. They set that tone really quickly. What they didn't do is really explain like what this area was. I know if you are a diehard fan, everyone knows what the Riders of Rohirrim are and everything like that, and had a very big role in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But this is set 200 years before any of the events of the Ring happened. The Just getting into really the bad stuff about it, it doesn't feel Lord of the Rings at all. Like it's not a Lord of the Rings movie. I don't think if they didn't have Lord of the Rings slapped on there, this would not have done well. I mean, it didn't do well. It would have done even worse. Just I think people saw it because it was titled Lord of the Rings. And again, it starts off summoning all these people to court, blah blah blah, like, and the High King's talking to his subjects, and obviously you have that one subject that's, oh, you're not treating us right, come fight me, blah 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 blah, and like they just want to do an outside tavern brawl. And I know they were doing this to make it seem like the king himself, Helm, was very strong, but this is a big, like, they were fist fighting, and he throws one punch and kills the guy, which is the whole point of the movie. That's what starts this whole war. But, I mean, looking at that, yeah, I understand where they tried. It wasn't good. It really wasn't. Um, and I know it's titled War of the Rohirrim. There is two scenes of actual like battles in war, which kind of to me was a little disappointing. I wanted to go in this and actually like see battles because Lord of the Ring is very good at making battles. There, you have plenty of it in the trilogy, Battle of Helm's Deep, the final battle in Mordor, everything. It looks really good. When they had him in there, it was great. But this had one and a half actual battles. Kind like the half is barely anything. It was predictable. The plot was stale. Um, it felt like we're watching a video game cutscene. That's the big part. Like I don't know. It was animated and like it's just a cutscene, and then it didn't really try to like bring you in. It was trying to tell a story based around the girl, but even then, I think it was a little stale because she did barely any fighting. Yes, she's smart on her feet, but you see her fight two people total during all this. If like, and those were the, yeah, two important fights, but they were quick, they were over with. They didn't show a lot of cool like, if you're watching an animated style movie like this, I expect like bigger flashes, bigger, like you could do so much more than you can with obviously non CGI, like real live actors and live action. Then like it's stale. It was really I had high hopes for this one. This one I had way more hopes than I did when I saw Craven. But Craven I knew it was going to be bad, so this one really disappointed me. Um, Some good things though, we got to see the Southrons, which are the people that control the elephants in the regular Lord of the Rings trilogy. They were really cool, but you only see them for like one real big scene of the battle, and then they kind of just disappear. All mercenaries. Um, I don't know. There's not much I can say about this movie because it felt quick, but super. It was a super long movie for what it was, but everything that felt important was way too quick. They spent a lot of time just sitting and talking about things, and I mean, it's just my opinion. I know people love that. I didn't. I'm here to watch a medieval war, and it was barely any of that. Like when they get to the final area of like where they're starting to lay siege, it takes the entire winter of no battle, and you're just watching this giant siege tower being built with guards standing on the castle. Another thing is, they took down the siege tower almost right away when it was deployed. So they just let them build that siege tower just to destroy it in like 5 minutes. It didn't make sense. It was just stale. It didn't really grip anything with it. I was again upset with it. I kind of was getting bored. I almost thought about going to use the bathroom during it because I didn't care after about 3/4 of the way. Upsetting. I mean, we got some cool little Easter eggs in there that's referencing to the future of Lord of the Rings because this is set 200 years before again of any Lord of the Rings. You got the orcs starting to collect rings from Mordor, which obviously is a reference of them trying to create the true ring, everything of that with Sauron. You have at the very end Gandalf getting referenced. You have Saruman getting referenced. You actually do get to see him in it, at least at the very end, which is kind of the setup for him corrupting the minds of the writers of Rohirrim. But it just was stale. I don't know. I had really high hopes, and that's all I could say about it. Even drinking a flask during it didn't make it better, and that was kind of my hope. The fighting is good when it happens, but it happens so quick. Like I feel like they needed more. The music during the fights were good. Like I said, love a good orchestra, but overall, I I liked it better than Craven, I guess, but Craven I at least could see what they were trying to do. This one I really didn't. It just seemed like we were watching an animated movie, like you're watching a Japanese anime. And I know it's made by a Japanese crew, but it just wasn't. It wasn't enough, or it wasn't used properly. I should say. I guess it was enough because it was a 2.5 hour movie, but it was just, eh. So I do. They had some cool creatures in there that have been referenced in the books, but like the eagles that could talk to wizards, the elephants, but that's kind of it. It felt fan service, but I don't think they serviced the fans in making this. That's the problem. It did seem like they were just trying to make a Lord of the Rings movie to capture some money, and I saw a lot of ads for this, so I was actually kind of hyped for it, and again, it disappointed. But overall, maybe a 5 out of 10. I don't think you really should go see it in theaters. Wait, this is a movie you could wait to go on streaming services just so it's better there. But yeah, save your time, save your money. I mean, I went at 1:05 on a Thursday afternoon during Christmas, and yeah, I was the only one in the theater, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I do appreciate y'all coming after this review. A little bit shorter than the Craven one because I just don't have much to say about it. It was just a movie. That's all it was. It's not going to break anything. Craven at least could have, like, you could make fun of it, and it's still a major, like, Marvel IP. And I think they've kind of screwed up Lord of the Rings lately. Like, they keep trying to pump more things out, and I don't think it's working. Like, they aren't putting many footholds for trying to revive something that ended, what, 15 to 20 years ago of all those movies. So just, yeah, save your time. Don't watch it, but I do appreciate y'all coming out. I have 2 more movies that I'm going to be seeing this week. I'm going to be seeing The Lion King, Mufasa, and Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is probably the one I'm looking forward to most, so keep an eye out for those videos later this week or over into next week. But as always, it takes no effort to just like the video or leave a comment, so I do appreciate everyone coming out, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.